Hi, welcome to Storytime with Gigi. Today we're reading a story from Disney's Christmas storybook collection, A Treasury of Tales. And our story today comes from A Bug's Life called Flik's Christmas Invention. Christmas was only a few days away, and the ant colony was busier than ever. On top of their normal work of storing food for the rest of the winter, the ants were also preparing for the Christmas celebration. There were gifts to wrap, decorations to hang, and a feast of good food to cook. "We'll never get it all done," Princess Dot, the Queen's younger sister, complained to her friend Flik. "There's so much to do at Christmas time. Everyone is so tired and no one will be in the mood to celebrate. We have to do something, Flik." Flik said thoughtfully. "You're right, Dot. We do work much harder at this time of year than at any other. There must be a way to make it easier." Princess Dot smiled. She always brought her problems to Flik. As the ant colony's official inventor, he worked hard to come up with new ways to make the ants work easier. She knew he would think of a great solution this time, too. "What do you think we can do?" Princess Dot asked eagerly. Flik rubbed his chin, deep in thought. Then he said, "Where does the most extra work come from at Christmas time?" "That's easy," Princess Dot replied. "Wrapping and decorating take up all our free time, but those jobs are also the most fun." "You're right again, Dot," Flik said. This is a tricky one. But don't worry, I'll think of something." The next day was Christmas Eve. The colony was hard at work, making sure things would be ready for the next day's celebration. Princess Dot hoped Flik would come up with a work-saving idea soon. Just then, he came up to Dot, a big smile on his face. Behind him, he pulled a large machine made of hooks and rollers and spools stuck together. "Here it is, Dot," he said proudly. "This will save us tons of work." Princess Dot smiled. She had no idea what the machine was for, but she didn't care. Flik had invented something. He always came through. But Queen Atta wasn't so impressed when she saw Flik's invention. "What's this for?" she asked. "It's my new work-saving device," Flik said. He beamed. "Why should we save work?" Atta asked. "We already have more than enough to go around." No, Flik said. "It will save us time and make our work easier with all the extra work around here at Christmas." "But that's what Christmas is all about," Queen Atta said, "making an extra effort to please the people we love. Think of all you could have finished in the time it took you to make the machine. Now there's even more to do." Before Flik could respond, Atta left the room. Flik sank down onto a stone and put his head in his hands. All his extra work had been for nothing. "Don't worry, Flik," Princess Dot told him. "Wait until she sees this thing in action. Come on, let's get started. I have a pile of gifts to wrap." Poor Flik. Word about the wrapping machine spread quickly. By late in the afternoon, the ants had gathered their gifts and lined up to use the new invention. Flik took all the items and placed them carefully on the machine. He turned and smiled at his friends. "Ready?" he called out. He pulled the start lever. Twigs moved, the conveyor belt hummed, leaf paper rattled, blades of grass whirled. The group stared in awe. Flik's heart raced as he cranked the machine. In just a few minutes, everyone in the colony would be ready for Christmas. He was thinking of how happy Queen Atta would be about his invention when he heard a strange noise. Rip! The conveyor belt jammed, tearing the leaf paper. Clunk, crash, crack. The gifts piled up as twigs snapped, and then the machine crashed to the ground. "Oh no!" one of the ants cried. "Our gifts!" someone yelled. "There goes Christmas," another ant said sadly. The ants all turned and walked away from the mess Flik's invention had caused. Now that their presents had been ruined, they had even more work than ever. Christmas was only a few days away. They didn't know how they would get all the work done in so little time. They didn't have a moment to waste. Flik hung his head. "I'm sorry," he muttered, but the only one left to hear him was Princess Dot. "You were only trying to help," Dot said. She still believed Flik was the best inventor in the colony. She didn't want him to get down on himself. "Maybe Atta was right," he continued. "Maybe I did waste more time." "No!" Dot cried. "It's not too late, Flik. I have an idea." She started whispering the details to him. Finally, Flik smiled. It was a good plan. That evening, a curtain was drawn across the ant colony's great hall. From behind it came the sounds of lots of hustle and bustle. Queen Atta entered the hall. She paused. "What's going on?" she wondered. "No peeking," Dot said. She'd shown up just in time to stop Queen Atta from looking behind the curtain. "It's a surprise for Christmas morning." On Christmas morning, Flik woke up early and went over to the great hall. He waited there, behind the curtain, until he heard voices outside. He pulled back the curtain and saw the ant colony's old friends, the circus bugs. "Merry Christmas," Flik said. "Come on in, our feast is ready." A long table ran the length of the hall. It was covered with every kind of treat, from blueberries to honeycombs. At the end of the table, there was an evergreen branch decorated with berries and candles. "What a wonderful Christmas feast," Queen Atta said when she entered the room. Flik beamed. He had stayed up all night preparing his surprise, a Christmas feast with all the trimmings. He wanted to make up for the mess his invention had caused. "It was a lot of work," Flik said, "but work is fun when you're doing it with friends." He smiled at Princess Dot. "I think you've both helped us all understand more about the true meaning of Christmas," Queen Atta said. Then they joined the circus bugs and the rest of the colony in feasting, singing, and dancing all day. And that's our story. I hope you liked it. Make sure you like and subscribe and share with your friends. Bye until next time.